probably the most important piece of evidence to support human evolution was not a fossil at all. It was an illustration. This is arguably the most recognized scientific illustration of all time. This diagram was affectionately called the March of Progress. It was part of a Time Life book series. The poster itself was included within one of the books, but it was also sent out as a publicity tool throughout the world to schools, libraries, institutions, other institutions of academia. This poster was sent out as to publicize or promote this book series. And it made its way into classrooms, hung on walls of libraries. It's the most recognizable scientific illustration of all time. It's called the March of Progress because, as you can see, it shows not just an evolutionary progression, but hominids in the progress of walking. Even Stephen Jay Gould remarked that it was a canonical representation of evolution, the one picture immediately grasped and viscerally understood by all. The diagram has been reproduced countless times, parodied countless times. A convincing diagram, to be sure. The one problem with the diagram was that it was knowingly false. It was knowingly false. The author even mentions this on fine print. He states that although proto-apes and apes were quadrupedal, means they walked on all four, they are shown here standing for comparison. Shown standing for comparison. He knew they were quadrupeds, but again, he doesn't just show them standing, they're shown walking. They're shown walking in bipedal motion. That's why it was called the March of Progress. The fact is that there's a significant difference between human apes, and the difference is largely due to the fact that apes are quadrupeds. They were what we call knuckle walkers, where humans are bipeds. Notice that here from this diagram, I took this straight out of Prentice Hall Biology just to illustrate some of the differences. But all the differences shown here, between quadruped and biped, the differences are so significant they impact literally almost every part of the skeletal system. The back is straight in humans. It's an S-shaped spinal column instead of C-shaped that we see in apes. This is important for the upright posture of bipeds. To have the torso and the head directly above the hips is important. The position of the skull, where it attaches to the spinal cord, is also different. In humans, the spinal cord attaches to the skull at the bottom, where in apes, it attaches to the back. Humans also have a fully extendable hip and angled femur bones. This is important. When looking at the humans from the front, the femur bones are angled inwards as they come down from the hip. This is important to put the feet directly beneath the body, so that when humans walk, the feet are always, if you notice how humans walk, the feet are always directly beneath the body. During walking and running, you're supported by just one leg at a time. And so without this angled femur, the body would kind of topple from side to side. Very important. But there's others as well. We have much finer balance control by the way of the inner ear than the apes have. We also have a flat face. One of the distinctive differences between the apes and the humans is apes have what's called a shovel face. Humans have a very flat face in comparison. As a biped, you have to have a flat face in order to be able to see the ground beneath you. Very important. We also have very long legs and very short arms. Exact opposite can be found in apes. Apes have very long arms. Arched feet are also very important. You have an arch between the ball of your foot and the toe, and this is very important. There's 26 bones in the feet alone. All of these bones are very, very necessary to accomplish the balance of bipeds, but the arched foot is a very important part of that. It makes it so that a person can press down on the ball of the foot, and this is important for both balance and control, for running, for changing directions. The arch of your foot is very important. Apes don't have this. Instead, they have a foot that is capable of grasping, much like their hands. Very important. Also, the strong big toe. All of these characteristics are unique to bipeds and distinct from the apes. Taxonomically, your ape-men, what we call ape-men, can be lumped into two main groups. And understand that there are many that have been found that have been given other names. This is just a brief list, but notice that there are two main genera. of these ape-men shown in this diagram. And notice another reproduction of the famous march of progress shown here. But within this, you see the two main genera. One we call the Australopithecines, and there are a number of Australopithecines that have been found. We also have the other genus, this is a taxonomic genus, the genus Homo. And within the genus Homo, we find groups such as Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and others that are not listed here, for example, Homo ergaster, antecessor, Heidelbergensis, Floriensis, Rudolfensis. There's a number of Homo species that are not illustrated here, a number of Australopithecines that are not illustrated here either. And there are others that have been found given other names. But what you have within the paleontological community is generally with two main groups. They call the lumpers and the splitters. You have lumpers and splitters. The lumpers are the people that tend to find fossils and put them into groups that already exist. The splitters are the ones that give their discoveries new names. Okay? Your splitters tend to be the people that find a fossil. The lumpers tend to be the ones that analyze other people's finds. Because in the scientific community today, the best way to become famous is to find a fossil of an ape-man. And particularly a fossil of an ape-man that tells something new, that causes a revision of the existing scheme, or one that is earlier. Okay? To find the 200th Homo erectus fossil, it's not even going to be reported. But you find something and you call it a new species, boom, you're going to find for example, Louis Leakey. You might know the name Louis Leakey. He introduced the names Zinjanthropus, Kenyapithecus, and also Homo habilis, emphasizing the uniqueness of those fossils. But most of these have been reclassified again as Australopithecines. Homo habilis, the one there in the center, Louis Leakey named the Homo habilis, it is widely regarded within the creation community and even amongst in your secular paleontologists as well as possibly being a mixture of ape and human fossils. So I've intentionally put it on the middle there because it's probably a little bit of both. Okay? But this illustrates how we make ape-men. Okay, so where do we get these ape-men from? If we really just have apes, the creation community in general regards Australopithecines, your genus Australopithecus, as being apes, and the genus Homo as largely being represented by humans. So where did we get these supposed ape-men from? Well, there's three ways you can create an ape-man. You can do what they did in the case of Homo habilis. You can combine ape fossils with human fossils and declare the two to be one individual, a real ape-man. Another way, you can emphasize human-like qualities of fossilized apes. And with some creative imagination, you can upgrade the apes to be more human-like. That's one way you can create an ape-man, at least in illustrations, right? Or you can emphasize ape-like qualities of fossilized humans, and with some imagination, downgrade humans to be more ape-like. This is another way you can create an ape-man. And we can see that this is how it's been done. Through by way of exaggeration, illustration, you can transform these groups. Now, the Australopithecines, we're going to look at these two main groups, Australopithecines, and then we will look at the genus Homo as well, represented by Neanderthals, Homo erectus. We will look at some of these. Australopithecines, several important groups are in here. Australopithecus afarensis, which is best probably known for the initial discovery of Lucy. Australopithecus africanus, the Tang skull, misplaced. There's a couple there. You might remember the Nutcracker Man was discovered. It was named Pithecanthropus, formerly Zinjanthropus, Pithecanthropus, and now Australopithecus. So they've given new names in the beginning, and eventually someone realizes, oh no, that's just another Australopithecus. So now Nutcracker Man is just back to being an Australopithecus. Boisei, Australopithecus boisei, formerly Zinjanthropus. Someone sent me this recently. I had to slip it in there. Yeah. All right. All right.
Get your mouth off the dead monkey. Get your mouth off the dead monkey. Get your mouth off the dead monkey.
Und was ist mit der Geschichte der Evolution und so?
Ihr werdet alle nur für dumm verkauft.
We're scientists. We can conceive of anything.
You must learn to distinguish between smut and science.
Science? Ooh, la-di-da.
That is a scientific fact, huh?
Put your trust in the scientific method. Put your faith in the scientific method. I have enough faith in the scientific method. Was this ever about science?
Those damn scientists, they don't know what they're doing.
That's bad. Melanie, I can't even hear you. It's just noise coming out of an ugly scientist.
The fact that science can account for everything. Science is omnipotent.
Science and evidence don't seem to impact much what people believe.
And science is supposed to have all the answers.
Oh, now, don't speak to me of antiquated notions like a soul. I mean, you're a scientist. Can you measure a soul? Can you measure it? Huh?
Science is full of coincidences.
And I freaking love science. Ha!